Hey, Larks!
The Larks closed out the regular season with a run rule victory over the Dodge City A's, and now they begin pool play in the 92nd NBC World Series with a rematch against the San Diego Stars. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to X Stadium in Wichita, Kansas. I'm Hank Corsair, and we'll talk to Eli Blankenship here in just a second. And it's going to be a fun time to watch the Larks play here in the NBC World Series. This is the 41st time they will be playing in this tournament, and they come in with a record of 26-7 after a very successful regular season and a very good ending as well against the Dodge City A's. They won 16-3. Well, while they were a little bit shorthanded, they were able to put together some runs, battle hard against the Dodge City pitching, and get the big win. And it's not going to be an easy test, though, for them. They'll have a very tough pool up ahead. San Diego is the team that the Larks met last year in the quarterfinals of the NBC World Series, along with a new team in Tessa's Army, and then one of the most historic teams in the NBC, the Alaska Gold Panthers, will end pool play. But the Larks come in with a record, as I said, of 26-7. They have some new faces joining the team, and they are ready to go in hopes of recapturing their title. And we'll take a break real fast, and when we come back, we'll have a talk with Eli Blankenship and also preview the Stars. We'll be right back here to X Stadium in just a moment. This is Hayes Larks Baseball on the Larks Network. Welcome back to X Stadium in Wichita, Kansas, as we get set to watch the Larks take on the San Diego Stars for both teams' first game in pool play. And we're now joined by Eli Blankenship, the color commentator for the Larks. Eli, how are you doing today?
I am feeling ecstatic, Hank. It is a nice day for baseball, clear skies all around, and I'm ready to get going here. First game of baseball around the clock. Can't imagine a better start to the tournament.
Yeah, especially after this regular season that we watched for the Larks. They got off to their best start ever. They had a little bit of a rough patch, but at the same time, they were able to put together some big wins and close out the regular season in style, and now they're more fresh. They've added some new guys, and they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, and I think the key for this Larks team is trying to implement those new guys in a fashion to where you can keep that camaraderie they've already built between those players they've already gotten established on that team, but also slowly kind of integrate those guys into the team in a way that they're still going to have that sense of togetherness and camaraderie that they have already built with some of those guys that have been around for a while. And especially with some of the injuries that the Larks have battled this season, I think adding those guys was a really crucial move by head coach Frank Leo.
Staying on that note of the guys that the Larks have added, there's 6 new players. 4 of them are from the Game Day Angels, and they've also added Hayes native Caden Dinkle. So I'm sure that while they were looking for those guys, while they were looking for talent, they were also looking for who fits their system, what they're familiar with, and also what they need to fill in order to win that title. We've seen a lot of these game day players. Some of them are good hitters. We got some other ones that do a good job of finding the strike zone on the mound. And then Caden Dinkle, who plays with Ty Schmeidler and Carson Lyles. So he's from Hayes. He knows the Larks, and he also knows a lot of the players as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a really important aspect to Caden Dinkle's addition to the team is that he is familiar with a lot of the guys on the team. He grew up watching the Larks, similar situation to like a Ty Schmeidler where you grow up watching the team. It's a kind of a full circle moment for a lot of those guys. And on top of that, I might add that I think that Frank Leo was very intentional with those additions that he made to the team and picked up guys that they felt like they had gaps in their team or whatnot, and was able to really strengthen this lineup and additionally the bullpen as well. I think that was one of the big emphasis going into this tournament was they wanted to really pick up some guys that were going to beef up their bullpen.
And this is also a rematch. The Larks faced the San Diego Stars last year in the quarterfinals of the NBC World Series, winning 10-4. They got up big early. The pitching did their job. Do you think that they should expect anything different? I mean, obviously they should because there's going to be a lot of new players, but also it's a 1-year difference. It's going to be a very similar style. And like I said, they've seen this team before.
I think for the playing style of this contest, I think we're going to see a pretty similar playing style. But what I will say is every team that comes into the NBC World Series consistently changes, turns over players. There's a lot of moving pieces that happen with teams during the offseason. The Larks only returned a few guys. And additionally, with the San Diego Stars, I would imagine that's probably a pretty similar narrative for them as well. So I think that they can't get too comfortable thinking that they have this game in the bag, but at the same time, I think head coach Frank Leo should be able to know and understand how to attack this team and what their weaknesses might be in terms of their tactics in this matchup.
It's going to be fun to watch. This is the Larks' 41st time playing in the NBC World Series, and it's now time for our opponent preview looking at the San Diego Stars. They are from the Western Baseball Association. They were second place in that league. They finished with an overall record of 17-12. They got off to an 8-2 start, but then eventually fell to 11-10 and won 6 of their last 8 games to get an at-large bid. And this team can put up a lot of runs. They have a lot of JUCO guys as well, and that includes 19 players from California, 12 of which play at the JUCO level for San Diego Mesa. And just like the Larks added players, they did the same. They added 7. And this is their 29th appearance in the NBC World Series. They hold an all-time record of 56-58, and they are coming off of a 5th-place finish last year where they went 2-3. That included a 1-2 record in pool play where they faced the Seattle Cheney Studs, Hutchinson Monarchs, and their lone win was against the Dodge City A's. So that'll do it for our opponent preview. We'll take a look at pitching matchup and starting lineups when we come back here on the Larks Network.
Like half the
Back here at X Stadium in Wichita, Kansas, we are about set for first pitch between the Larks and the Stars, and we'll now take a look at our starting lineups. We'll start with the San Diego Stars. They'll be the visiting team tonight. Their first batter will be the right fielder, number 25, Hunter Call. Batting second is the second baseman, Carter Lockwood. The third batter is the catcher, Jason Wright. The left fielder, Gavin Gamino, is fourth. Number 33, Phil Jones, will bat fifth. He's over at first base. Number 27, Logan Aguilar, is sixth, playing shortstop. Number 15, Liam Herrera, will bat seventh at the third base position. The DH tonight is the eighth batter, number 6, Dylan Towning. And rounding out the rest of the order is number 12, Jacob Lanza, who is in center field. And now taking a look at the Larks, they will start Max Flowers, who is in center field. After that, it's Rainer Bean, the third baseman. Hutch Russell will play second base at third in the order. The catcher, Brand Wilson, will bat fourth. Sean Keenan will be fifth in the order, playing in right field. Cooper Holtorf is on the opposite side of the outfield. He is batting sixth. The seventh batter is number 34, Tanner Norman, the first baseman. Tabor Stokes, the shortstop, is eighth. And a new player joins the team, batting ninth in the order. It's the DH, number 20, Owen Coyle. And now looking at both teams' pitching matchups for tonight's game, starting off with the San Diego Stars. They will start number 16, Manny Miranda, a right-handed pitcher from Harris Stowe State, who is the Stars' ace. He's played in 14 games and made 11 starts, putting together a team-best record of 4-1. And the Larks starting pitcher tonight is Trent Baker. This will be his 7th start of the season, and also this is the 12th start of his Larks career. His overall career record is 9-0, and this season it includes 4-0 with 31.2 innings pitched. The Larks are already on the field, getting ready to go for the first pitch, and like I said, they are starting Trent Baker. Tonight they are wearing their gray uniforms, which feature the Larks logo across the heart. Diagonal from that is a red number, and then there's blue numbers on the back of the jersey. They are also wearing the red hats that feature the throwback logo on the front, as well as 80-year anniversary on the side. For the Stars, they are wearing white uniforms with black numbers and a red outline. And like I said, they will be led off by number 25, Hunter Call, the right fielder. Baker getting set to go, pitching to Brand Wilson. And it is perfect weather today here in Wichita. Not a cloud in the sky. It is very hot, though. The humidity, though, has not arrived yet. Currently, it sets at 89 degrees. Throughout this game, it could rise to as high as 97. Or correction, it's actually 92 degrees now, and it could rise to as high as 97 throughout the game. And clouds are not expected to come until 4 p.m. Baker finishes up his warm-up pitches, and Hunter Call makes the walk to the mound, or walk to the plate, holding the bat in his right hand. This is the first game of baseball around the clock, so it's a mix of Larks fans, a couple Stars fans as well, and then fans who are going to rise up to the challenge and try to watch 11 baseball games in 33 hours.
Well, there's a decent crowd out in right field. That's where they usually kind of camp out for baseball around the clock. There's a few tents and blankets out there.
Trent Baker goes inside with his fastball on the first pitch to Hunter Call, and the count starts 1-0. First pitch officially comes at 12:01 p.m. And here's the second pitch from Baker, and Call gets ahead 2-0. Hunter Call's a sophomore from San Diego Mesa. He's one of 12 players from the Olympians on the Stars roster. And now Baker deals the 2-0, getting the fastball in the outside corner. It finds the zone, and it's now 2-1. This is Call's 26th game with the Stars. He's put together a batting average of .330, standing far back in the right-handed batter's box, and he watches another one go by, and Trent Baker fights back up to a 2-2 count. Pretty good number of Larks fans in attendance, sitting next to the third base side, but there's a lot of fans sitting in the shade, which is right underneath the press box. The 2-2 is dealt, and the slider goes outside, and it's a full count for Baker against Call.
Very close pitch location there. Baker had the right idea to try to go back outside with a slider. That's what you call a strikeout pitch right there. Almost got him to bite on it. He appealed over to first base for that swing.
Baker has 36 strikeouts and 12 walks, and he gets strikeout number 37 on the sixth pitch of the at-bat. Hunter Call goes down looking, and it now brings up Carter Lockwood.
Well, Trent Baker's the kind of guy you want on the hill in an appearance like this. First game of the NBC World Series, set the tone early, put a guy that's a veteran for your team on the hill, and let him do what he does best, which is pitch with confidence.
Now up is number 13, Carter Lockwood, the sophomore outfielder that is from San Diego, and he hits a hard hit ball into the second base side. It's fielded by Hutch Russell in the outfield grass, and the throw goes to first in time, and Tanner Norman is responsible for getting out number 2.
Great fielding opportunity there from Russell. Was able to get it down on one knee off the backhand, make that play, and then throw it across the diamond over to first. Excellent fielding there from Russell over at second base.
Next up now is the catcher, Jason Wright. He is a senior at Montana State Billings. Baker deals the first pitch to him, and this is fouled back right onto our floor in the suites to our left. The count begins 0-1.
That crashed into a window pretty hard. We better look alive up here, Hank.
That hit a window? I thought that just hit the front of the barrier.
Well, it hit something. It sounded like whatever it hit, it thudded pretty hard. I didn't exactly see what it hit, but it hit something.
Baker's ahead 0-2, looking for his second strikeout of the game. He kicks and deals, and this is a foul ball landing by the green seats here at X Stadium. Jason Wright stays alive. Wright's a very experienced player for the Stars team, just finished his senior year at the Division II level for Montana State Billings. Is dealt a ball on the outside, and the count moves to 1-2. Wright played in 36 games this season, finished with a .469 batting average, which is an all-time single-season record for Billings and also the GNAC. A foul ball goes onto the roof of the indoor facility here for Wichita State. Wright now awaits pitch number 6, and the count is 1-2. Brand Wilson wants it inside. That's where it goes. Wright had to move his knees out of the way a little bit, and the count is even. A hard ground ball is hit in play, and it goes into foul territory. Right by the first base bag. It was the field umpire that called it. That's now 3 foul balls for Jason Wright since being dealt with 2 strikes. Baker's already gotten 1 strikeout this inning. It was on a full count against the leadoff batter, Hunter Call. Next pitch is on its way, and it catches the low inside corner. That is a second backwards K for Trent Baker in the top of the first inning, and the Larks go 3 up, 3 down against the Stars. They will be led by Max Flowers, Rainer Bean, and Hutch Russell when we come back here on the Larks Network. Welcome back to X Stadium in Wichita, Kansas. It's time for the bottom of the first inning. Still no score. The Larks were able to go 3 up, 3 down against the Stars with 2 backwards Ks coming from the starter, Trent Baker. And now it's the Larks' turn to go to work with the bats. Max Flowers leads things off with his white batting gloves and white right arm sleeve. He is facing the ace pitcher for the Stars. That is number 16, Manny Miranda, making his 15th appearance and 12th start. He deals a fastball, and the count begins 0-1 to Flowers.
Miranda's got a very smooth delivery, was able to just kind of launch that one over the outer half of the plate. He's very fluid in his motion.
The catcher puts his glove low and inside, and there is ball one. The outfield looks like this for the Stars. From left to right, it's Gavin Gamino, Jacob Lanza, and Hunter Call. The catcher is number 35, Jason Wright. We'll take a look at the infield in just a second after the pitch. Flowers swings and misses at it. He's down 1-2. The first baseman tonight is number 33, Phil Jones. The second baseman is number 13, Carter Lockwood. Next to him at shortstop is number 27, Logan Aguilar. And the third baseman is number 15, Liam Herrera. Flowers stepped out of the left-handed box for a moment, now goes back in. Miranda's getting cheered on by the Stars players in the first base dugout. Now here's a line drive deep into right field, and this one goes over Hunter Call's head, and he puts his hands up. That's a ground rule double for Max Flowers in the first hit of the game.
That's exactly how they wanted to start that. Beautiful hit there from Max Flowers. Made great contact, barreled up that ball, was able to get it on a one-hop right over the fence. Great way to start the series for the Larks.
That's the 29th hit of the season for Max Flowers, and it now takes us to number 3, Rainer Bean, playing for the Larks this year. Last year he was on this field playing for the Oklahoma MVP, which was one of the teams that the Larks faced off against. Bean comes in on an 8-game hit streak and a team-high .623 slugging percentage. Working with the runner over at second base, it's Max Flowers. Hutch Russell is on deck. Brand Wilson is in the hole. Here's the pitch, and this one's popped up on the infield. It's the catcher Wright going after it. He calls for it, and he makes the catch going back to his right. And there's out number 1.
Well, for those of you that might remember, the last time the Larks played the Stars, it was a very, very, very late battle between the two of them. That one was the one where Hank and I had to stay up till, I don't know, about 2 in the morning calling that game. That was baseball around the clock, but wasn't during baseball around the clock.
I'd have to go back and look and see what time that game started because I write that down all the time. I'll flip through that and call the game at the same time. Here's the first pitch to Hutch Russell. It's dealt inside on a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, for those that may have been waiting to tune into that game last year, it started late. It was supposed to start like at 8 o'clock, and it didn't start until 11 o'clock that night, so it was a much later night than we were anticipating.
10:48 was the exact time that game started, and it ended around 2 a.m.
Not only was it a late start, but it was a long game too, which was didn't do us any favors that night.
2-0 is the count to Hutch Russell. Flowers takes a lead over at second base. He's been aggressive on the base path this season. Miranda looks back at him, now deals the pitch, and there is the first strike to Russell. In fact, the last 3 games for the Larks last year at the NBC World Series all started in the evening and then ended past midnight. It was the final pool game against the Kraken, the game against the Stars, and then the semifinal game against the Kraken as well. Here's a throwback to second base. Very close tag from the shortstop Aguilar, but Flowers gets back safely.
That was really close. Max Flowers almost got thrown out over there at second base. Good job from him, though, to have the reaction time to go in head first back into the bag.
Russell holds his black bat up, resting it on his left shoulder. The pitch. And here's a line drive that's going to go out of play. And it does not hit the indoor facility once again. That one went way out of here.
Well, the indoor facility is a pretty popular spot for foul balls to go in this ballpark. It sits just behind that third base dugout, which is where the Larks are at this afternoon.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the second baseman, Hutch Russell. And the pitch is on its way, and it misses to the outside for ball 3. A full count for Hutch Russell against Manny Miranda, the ace arm for the Stars. His 12th start, coming in with a 4-1 record. 33 strikeouts for him, but he's also walked 17 batters. Looking for out number 2. He takes a peek back over at Max Flowers, and then a second one, and here's the pitch. And it's a ground ball over to the second baseman. He bobbles it, and it rolls right by him. Flowers will be sent home by Ben Tinius from third, and the Larks are on the board first.
Well, I just think Lockwood got flustered over there at second base. He went to field the ball and couldn't quite get his glove underneath it the way he was hoping to, and then it just jumped up to him on his chest. And I think the pressure was on because he knew there was a guy that had a chance to round third to go home, and I think that flustered him even more, and it just caused him to not be able to pull it back together and make the play over at first.
The booth lists that one as a base hit for Hutch Russell, giving him an RBI as well. He's got a big lead over at first base. Jones is covering the bag. Here's the first pitch to the catcher, Brand Wilson. Goes by his knees, and the count is 1-0. This is 3 batters in a row for the Larks that played against them for the Oklahoma MVP last year. Bean, Russell, and Wilson. Tanner Norman is also in the lineup as well. And now a foul ball on the 1-0 count. Rolls away to the right side of the plate. It's now 1-1.
I think the fact that the Larks have that many guys on the team that played for the Oklahoma MVP last year just really speaks as a testament to how observant coaches are, and they can remember guys and pick guys out that say, oh, man, you'd be a pretty good addition to my team next year. And it's really interesting the way that Frank Leo can find some of these guys throughout the years.
The 1-1 is a fly ball into shallow left field. The shortstop Aguilar goes back for it and makes the catch for the second out and keeps Russell over at first base. That now brings up Sean Keenan. The Larks are up 1-0 here in the first inning. And also the Larks adding those MVP players, it gives those guys some more experience. So while the Larks get the talent, those guys get better experience because of Oklahoma MVP. They were able to get a bid to the NBC World Series because they won the Stan Musial World Series tournament.
It allows them to play a full season, which is beneficial for a lot of those college guys. It keeps them fresh and ready to go for the next collegiate season to come.
Sean Keenan out to bat, awaiting the first pitch. Fastball is low and inside for ball 1. Cooper Holtorf is on deck, followed by Tanner Norman and Tabor Stokes. Hutch Russell's over at first base. He had an RBI single just a moment ago that scored Max Flowers from second. Jones stands in front of the first base bag, and the throw goes back to him, and Russell slides back in time. It'll be the middle part of the Stars order up next in the second inning. Larks trying to keep this inning going for as long as possible with Keenan up to bat. Here's the 1-0. And that one goes to the outside. It's now 2-0. Keenan went 2 for 3 in the Larks regular season finale against Dodge City, which was 5 days ago. The Larks won that one 16-3, making it their 9th run rule win of the season. It was a game where both teams were a little bit shorthanded. Keenan has a line drive right past the first baseman, but into foul territory, and it rolls into the right field bullpen. It's now 2-1. In that game, Dodge City only had 19 players on their active roster, which meant 9 of their guys had already left. And the Larks only had 17 players make the trip, which included a new addition, which was Tony Moore, the infielder from Fort Hays State, played for just that game. 2-1 the count. Miranda delivers, and Keenan hits a hard hit ball to the shortstop. Going to his knees is Aguilar to field it. He throws over to first base, and the throw is in time for out number 3. The Larks get 2 hits in the first inning. They score Max Flowers from second base on an RBI single from Hutch Russell, and they lead 1-0 going into the top of the second. We'll be right back here on the Larks Network. Welcome back to X Stadium. It's the top of the second inning with the Larks leading 1-0. They got two hits and a run in the bottom of the first inning to get that lead. And now they face the middle part of the Stars order with Trent Baker on the mound. He deals a ball to Gavin Gamino and starts the count off 1-0. For the Larks jumping out to that early lead, it's a good sign if the trend continues from the Stars last year. They played in 5 games. They went 2-3 last season. Swing and a miss now 1-1 to Gamino. And in those 5 games, they had a trend that whichever team had the lead at the end of the first inning went on to win the game. So if that stays true, the Larks just need to hold on to this lead and try to get a win before setting up a matchup tomorrow at 3 p.m. against Tess's Army. Baker deals the 1-1, and he puts his fastball in the low outside corner, and it ties the count up. The pitch is on its way, and it's fouled back into the net. It's now 2-2 to Gamino.
Oh, we heard a lot of the guys on the team this year talk about how many games where they kind of fall into this habit where they get behind early, and then after they get behind early, they tend to put a lot of pressure on themselves in those later parts of the game.
Gamino works to a full count against Trent Baker. 3-2, just like the first batter in the first inning, which was Hunter Call. He struck out looking. Baker has 2 Ks today, looking for another one against the junior out of Rogers State. Here comes the payoff pitch. And it's a swing and a miss. There's the strikeout number 3 for Trent Baker. And there's a 1 away here in the top of the second inning.
Another great pitch there from Trent Baker. Great job from him to just settle in on the hill and go to work. I think, back to my point about them kind of falling behind early in some of those games, I want to say it might have been Carson Lyles maybe. I'm not exactly – I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was might have been Tanner Norman in that last home game of the season where the Larks they were able to get out a little bit earlier than they did in some of those previous games. And he said, he made the comment that they got to break that habit of getting behind or waiting until the very end of the game to score those runs. It allows them to play a little bit more relaxed out there when they get ahead early.
It's a 2-1 count right now for Trent Baker against the top batter for the Stars, Phil Jones. It started with a ball, then a swinging strike, and then another ball. Here's the 4th pitch. Baker goes to his full windup, and it's a ground ball over to Hutch Russell standing in the outfield, and he throws it over to Tanner Norman, and there's out number 2. It's another 4-3 play for the Larks, just like the first inning. They get a strikeout, followed by a 4-3 play to get the second out. That'll now bring up number 27, Logan Aguilar, an infielder from Grossmont College, who is technically also the only Division I player for the Stars. He is committed to play in the Big Ten for Penn State next season, and he hits it over to Hutch Russell, still standing in the grass, and it's deja vu for the third out. The Larks get back-to-back 4-3 plays along with a strikeout, and they end the top of the second inning still up 1-0. We'll be back to X Stadium in just a moment here on the Larks Network. One nothing is our score going into the bottom of the second inning. Cooper Holtorf leads things off, followed by Tanner Norman and Tabor Stokes. The Larks are still facing number 16, Manny Miranda, for his 12th start of the season with the Stars. putting his 4-1 record on the line as he deals the first pitch of the inning. And Holtorf watches the changeup go by, and the count starts off 0-1. Holtorf is followed by Tanner Norman and Tabor Stokes. Holtorf is also one of 2 new faces in the lineup tonight, along with Owen Coyle, who bats ninth. Here's a fly ball deep into left field. Running after it is Gamino into the left field corner, and this one's going to drop down and go over the wall of honor. It's the second ground rule double of the game for the Larks, putting Holtorf over at second.
Certainly another promising start here in the bottom of the second inning for the Larks. That's back-to-back innings where they start with ground rule doubles. We'll see if they can't produce some more runs here in this inning.
The first ground rule double came from Max Flowers in the first inning, and he eventually got home after an RBI single. Now up to bat is number 34, Tanner Norman. Just had 1 at-bat in the last game against Dodge City. Throughout the season, he's continued to show his plate discipline, and that's been true in these last 6 games where he's had a combined 14 walks. Awaiting the pitch, it's on its way, and the fastball goes inside, and Norman falls behind 0-1. Holtorf has a short lead over at second base. The shortstop Aguilar standing closest to the bag. Now Norman takes a half-hearted practice swing and holds his bat up. Miranda looks back at second, deals the pitch, and he delivers another changeup, and it's now 0-2. Miranda faced 5 batters in the first inning. This is the second one of the second. The catcher wants the pitch low and inside. This one goes by Norman's knees. He had to move out of the way a little bit, and it's now 1-2. And there it looked like the catcher was originally going to go to the outside is where he wanted the ball, and then at the last second he moved in, and that's where the pitch went.
It's possible Miranda may have gotten rushed a little bit. The pitch clock, it was getting pretty low for him whenever he was about to throw that pitch.
Here's the 1-2, and Norman hits a line drive into left field. This one's going to drop down, take 2 bounces, and then go into the glove of Gamino, and Holtorf is held up at third base as the throw goes home into the glove of Jason Wright. The 4th hit of the game for the Larks puts runners at the corners. It's Holtorf at third and Norman over at first.
That was absolutely the right decision over there on third base with Ben Tinius holding Holtorf over at third. He saw that relay throw come in off the hand of Gamino out in left field and was able to really recognize that and avoid a really close call at the plate, especially when you have no outs here in the bottom of the second. There's no sense of sending a guy in a situation like that unless you're absolutely sure he's going to make it home.
Now batting 8th in the order is number 6, Tabor Stokes. He has dealt a ball from Miranda, starting the count off 1-0. This is the 3rd year for Stokes with the Larks, 3rd year at the NBC World Series. He was part of the 2024 championship team and was part of last year's team that made it to the semifinals. The 1-0, and he hits a line drive, another one into left field. That drops down, brings home Cooper Holtorf from third and moves Tanner Norman to second, and the Larks lead it 2-0. The 15th RBI of the season for Tabor Stokes, the 70th of his career, extending the lead and bringing the Larks now to number 20, Owen Coyle. Coyle's one of 6 new players for the Larks. He is a sophomore outfielder from Oral Roberts in the Summit League, originally from Stillwater, Oklahoma. There was a quick meeting there between Jason Wright and Manny Miranda. Wright is now returning behind home plate. Norman's over at second base, Stokes over at first. Stokes has a big lead, but Norman's playing a little bit closer to second base, and now there's a balk called, and that puts both of them in scoring position.
Yeah, and that's really going to sting for Miranda. He's got 2 runners in scoring position now with nobody out. He's going to be very susceptible to a sacrifice fly in this situation.
There was actually someone from the third base side that yelled that it was a balk. Did that come from the Larks dugout?
I actually think that was the home plate umpire that called that. That's what it sounded like to me, at least from the way the sound traveled up here.
We're a little high up, so it's kind of hard to tell. Here's a foul ball that lands right next to a fan in the yellow seats, which is in the shade here at X Stadium. Owen Coyle begins the count 0-1.
Well, I don't blame the fans trying to find some shade here this afternoon. There is really no air movement whatsoever. The flag out in right field is totally still.
It's not as humid yet, but, yeah, there's no wind and not a cloud in the sky. Another foul ball from Coyle. Lands to the left of the press box and the suites. And the count is 0-2.
As someone who is very susceptible to sunburns myself, I don't blame them at all. I wouldn't want to be roasting out there, especially if they're here for a while with the Larks. If they're gonna, at least be here till the very least till Tuesday. So, I would imagine they don't want to be miserable after the first game of the week.
Coyle's dealt a ball on an 0-2 count. It's now 1-2. The Larks will be back to the top of their order after this with Max Flowers, Rainer Bean, and Hutch Russell. Their lead is 2-0. Runners at third and second. Here's the pitch from Miranda going into his full windup. And this one's going to be chopped foul down the first base side. Coyle able to stay alive. Coyle only played in 10 games this season at Oral Roberts, but in 2025 he was an All-Summit League selection with 35 games, 7 home runs, and 20 RBIs as a DH. But only played in 10 this season because he battled through an injury. He's awaiting the pitch, and here it comes. And that one will go to the outside for ball 2.
Well, I think they've got their speedometer calibrated now. Earlier it was showing fastballs coming in at 50 miles an hour, and that was not correct at all. They didn't look like 50-mile-an-hour fastballs. Those have been like almost batting practice balls. That one came in at 83 miles an hour, though. It's really nice to have some of those statistics here in this tournament.
A line drive into right field for Coyle, and his first hit as a Lark is going to drop down, and it's another base hit. He looks over at second base. Norman is in, and Stokes will jog into home plate. The Larks extend their lead to 4-0.
That was a great hit there from Owen Coyle, and a great way to get your first knock of the NBC World Series, and as a new addition to the team, a great way to kind of prove your keep, and what a great job from him. Squared up on that ball and came through with a big hit and a big opportunity there for the Larks.
The Larks are already back to the top of their order now with number 5, Max Flowers, the center fielder. He had the ground rule double and was scored by Hutch Russell in an RBI single. He has Owen Coyle over at first base with a 4-0 lead. The pitch, and it's a swing and a miss for strike 1. There are still no outs here in the second inning. No players are currently warming up in right field for the Stars. They did have one guy go over to the bullpen just a moment ago, but he returned to the dugout after that. Miranda gives a nod, now deals, and he puts it low and inside for the first ball, making the count 1-1.
Miranda's really been crutching on that lower inner part of the plate, and I just wonder if he's a little bit uncomfortable pitching to these guys, so allow them to extend that barrel of their bat. Wonder if he's getting a little rattled on the mound.
Flowers fouls the ball back into the net, moving the count to 1-2. The Larks have recorded 4 hits here in the bottom of the second inning. They had 2 in the first. They're getting a lot of hits off Miranda. He gave up 52 hits in his 14 games in the regular season with the Stars. He also does a good job at finding the strike zone, but is still looking for that first K of the game. And he's still looking for it as he deals a ball, making the count 2-2.
He's got to get something going here before too long with a 2-2 count, and especially with this lead that the Larks have already jumped out to, they can't afford really too many more runs to give up to the Larks. Otherwise, this one's going to be pretty difficult to come back from.
And Flowers will swing and miss on the 2-2 count. There's out number 1. It's called a foul tip by the home plate umpire. But there's one away with Coyle over at first base, and Rainer Bean is now up to bat. Bean taking his time going in up to the plate. Hits the bat on his cleat once and now steps into the left-handed box to face the right-handed arm of Manny Miranda. A San Diego native, one of 19 players for the Stars from San Diego. He starts with a 1-0 count. Coyle has a short lead over at first base. And Jones is covering the bag. The pitch gets in the zone for another strike. Rainer had a pop out in his first appearance in the first inning. And on the 1-1, he hits another pop-up, this one going into center field. It's both Lockwood and Lanza running after it. Lanza's the one that gets there. Standing on the Woo Shock logo, he makes the catch, and there's now 2 away. That'll take us now to number 15, Hutch Russell, who scored the first run of the game. He brought home Max Flowers from second base off of an RBI single on a full count. And now the Midwest City, Oklahoma native is ready for his second at-bat.
Well, Russell's had a pretty eventful game already. He's recorded 3 total outs that he's been responsible for over at second base, and then already has been able to score a run on this one for the Larks.
Swing and a miss on the first pitch. Coyle takes off for second base, and he slides in feet first in plenty of time. Going back up to his feet in the same motion. Russell starts the count 0-1, and Coyle is in scoring position.
Coyle's got some wheels on him. I like that steal there from him. Was able to get aggressive on the base paths, and he fits right into that mold the Larks need him to, with this Larks team being very successful when they're going hard on the base paths.
And the pitch, and Russell gets a line drive into right field, and this one's going to drop down. Tinius will tell Coyle to wait. The throw goes home into the glove of the catcher right. That is the second hit of the game for Russell, putting runners at the corners.
A good call from Tinius there once again over at third base. I think Coyle was ready to go home. He rounded third base like he was ready to go, and he had his head down, really putting his nose to the grindstone, and then was able to look up at the last second, saw Tinius with his hands up, and he hit the brakes really hard.
The Larks now go to their 4-hole batter, number 32, Bran Wilson, the catcher out of Redlands Community College, a Southwestern Oklahoma State commit. And the pitch is called strike 1, and Hutch Russell takes off for second base. No throw was made. That puts both of the runners in scoring position. The Larks have 3 runs in this inning. They've scored Cooper Holtorf, Tanner Norman, and Tabor Stokes. Trying to add 2 more. The 0-1, and Wilson hits it high up into the air. Running after it is Herrera, the third baseman, standing next to the bullpen. And he makes the catch in the dirt. And there is out number 3. The Larks score 3 runs off of 5 hits in the bottom of the second inning, and they lead 4-0. The top of the third is up next here on the Larks Network. Back here in Wichita, Kansas for the top of the third inning. It's the 7-8-9 batters up for the San Diego Stars facing off against Trent Baker. He has dealt 3 strikeouts and has yet to give up a hit. He goes to his full windup for the first pitch of the inning, and it's a fly ball into left field. And running after it is Cooper Holtorf, and it takes a bounce, goes over his head, and goes into his glove right after that. And there's a single for Liam Herrera. I am sorry, Trent Baker. I just said that you have not given up a hit, and the broadcaster jinx strikes again.
The broadcaster's curse is a real thing. It exists, and I am one who is very superstitious of such curse. I try not to implore it to some players, but unfortunately, sometimes you can't escape it.
Herrera's over at first base. Now at the bat is number 6, Dylan Towning. He is a new addition for the Stars, and he starts with an 0-1 count against Baker. Towning's a freshman from Kingman, Arizona. He actually played in the same league as the Stars, the Western Baseball Association, for a different team, the San Diego Bombers. And on the 0-1, this one is fouled, rolls to the left of the plate. Wilson still goes after it, but the count is now 0-2. Jacob Lanza's on deck. Hunter Call's in the hole. Towning taps his bat on home plate, now holds it up. Wilson centers his glove. Baker gives a nod, the pitch. And the 0-2 is hit into right field, and it goes right into the glove of Sean Keenan for the first out. Keenan did not have to travel a very far distance. He was able to track it down and get the out, and now Jacob Lanza is the next batter up. Lanza is a utility player for the Stars, playing at center field tonight. He's had 20 games as a batter coming in. He's also had 4 as a pitcher. Working with a runner over at first base. Here's the first pitch. This one takes a bounce, goes into the glove of Wilson, and it's 1-0. Time will be called by the home plate umpire. And now he'll return to his spot behind home plate. Jacob Lanza, another player from San Diego Mesa, originally from El Cajon, California. Baker puts his left foot forward, now deals the pitch. It goes up high for ball 2. This season, Lanza played in 39 games for the Olympians, a .277 average with 31 hits. He is also a Division II committed to play for the Chaminade Silver Swords in Hawaii. A team that a lot of people will be familiar with if you're a college basketball fan. They are a consistent participant in the Maui Invitational, I believe is the tournament name. On the 3-0 count, Baker deals a strike to Jacob Lanza. It's now 3-1 with Liam Herrera, the third baseman, over at first.
Silver Swords is a very unique mascot. I really like that name. It's got a nice ring to it.
I think it's like a plant that's native to Hawaii. On the 3-1, this one's hit into the gap in left center field. It takes a big bounce, and that's going to be a double for Jacob Lanza, putting Liam Herrera over at third. And the Stars players making a lot of noise on that hit. They have 2 runners in scoring position trying to get on the board. They go back to the top of their order now with number 25, Hunter Call.
Well, you love seeing that kind of energy out of the dugout over there for the Stars. Really hyping their guys up, trying to keep the energy high, especially giving up as many runs as they did, as early as they did. Obviously, they've got to do what they can to rally around each other to try to work their way back into this game. So you love to see that kind of energy. It keeps things very fun and competitive.
Hunter Call now back up to bat. He was the first strikeout victim against Trent Baker. The Larks now have some movement in their bullpen in left field. I believe that's number 27, Sammy Fredrich, currently warming up, and a broken bat drops over Tanner Norman's head, and the Stars are on the board. It is Hunter Call dropping it into right field. And scoring from third is Liam Herrera. It's now 4-1 here with 1 out in the top of the third.
Well, sometimes the hits that come up the biggest aren't always the ones that you purposely are looking for. Obviously, a broken bat usually indicates you didn't make very good contact with the ball. Well, it worked out for him. A little blooper out into right field, drives in a run, and you can't be upset with that if you're Hunter Call. That's the way you want it done here in this situation.
Keith Harper is now going out to the mound, and also the Larks trainer, Dylan Moore, is out there as well. Sammy Frederick is the only pitcher warming up in the bullpen right now. I'm kind of wondering if something happened because Dylan Moore's out there as well.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Hopefully nothing happened there with Baker. I just, it makes you wonder if with the trainer out there if maybe he felt something or felt some discomfort that he wanted to make sure was all A-OK. Obviously, you don't want to strain an arm or keep a guy out there longer than he should be if he's hurting.
So Harper and Moore will both return to the dugout, and Trent Baker stays on the mound. He's now facing the two-hole batter, Carter Lockwood. The runner at third is Jacob Lanza. Over at first is Hunter Call. The Stars just got their first run of the game from Liam Herrera.
It's good to see him stay on the hill out there. The Larks need his arm this afternoon. They need him to go at least another inning or two before they're looking to try to pitch some relievers. Obviously, with this tournament being as demanding as it is, you've got to preserve all your arms the best you can.
So now Trent Baker will face Carter Lockwood for the second time. He grounded out on a 4-3 play in the first inning. Baker's first pitch to him goes high and outside, and the count is 1-0. All three of the Stars' hits so far have been in this inning. That includes the singles from Liam Herrera and Hunter Call, the double from Jacob Lanza. It now has him over at third, and the next pitch is a chopper right into the glove of Tanner Norman. He looks over at second base. There's one, and the throw to first is not in time. Trent Baker was there covering, and Jacob Lanza scores from third. That'll now bring up number 35, Jason Wright. Score is 4-2. The Stars trying to put themselves back in this game. They are bringing up one of their most experienced players, Jason Wright, the senior out of Montana State Billings at the Division II level. He's played in 10 games this summer for San Diego. And the pitch is inside for a ball. Wright's first at bat against Trent Baker was 8 pitches long. That was a 2-2 count along with 3 foul balls, and Baker was able to strike him out looking. Baker deals, and this one's fouled, goes to the backstop, and it's now 1-1.
I have noticed that Trent Baker has slowed his pre-pitch preparation a little bit in these last couple at bats, and I wonder if maybe that's a little bit of fatigue or if that was part of the product of why the trainer came out there to the hill.
On the 1-1, Baker deals another ball, and it's now tied up. Just curious, where is the speedometer that you saw at?
It's out in left field. It's on the
oh, I see it now.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a little hard to find there at first. Here's the 2-1, and here is a pop fly into foul territory on the left field side, and it's going to go out of play and land in the Larks bullpen. Some of their players were yelling, catch it to somebody, but it just lands in there.
Yeah, and when I say pre-pitch preparation, I mean the time it takes him to come out into the stretch, get the call from Wilson behind the plate, come set, and then raise that front leg for the pitch clock to stop. He's usually pretty quick. He's usually a pretty quick and rhythm pitcher, but he's slowed down a little bit since that mound visit.
Baker goes to a fastball in the 2-2 count, and it gets sent back into the net. Another foul ball after 2 strikes there for Jason Wright. Like I just said, he had 3 in the first inning, and he also had a 2-2 count in that inning as well.
That fastball and that fastball on that last pitch was smoking. That was 91-mile-an-hour fastball coming across home plate.
Here's the pitch, and it's a ground ball over to Hutch Russell. He will just give an underhand toss to his shortstop, Tabor Stokes, to get the runner out at second, and that ends the inning. The Stars are now on the board. They score 2 runs in the top of the third, and then the Larks still lead at 4-2. The bottom of the third is up next with Sean Keenan, Cooper Holtorf, and Tanner Norman up to bat here on the Larks Network. It's time for the bottom of the third inning. The Stars got 2 runs on 3 hits in the top half of the third inning to get within 2 against the Larks. And now Sean Keenan will lead things off. He was the only batter that didn't appear in the second inning, where the Larks scored 3 of their runs. He was dealt a ball from Manny Miranda, back for a third inning of work. The Larks have been able to get 7 hits overall against him so far. Now he goes to the windup, and the pitch goes to the outside, and it's now 2-0. Miranda's teammates in the infield cheering him on as he looks for the first out. The Larks have started each of the first 2 innings with ground rule doubles from Max Flowers and Cooper Holtorf. And now there's ball 3 to Keenan. Keenan takes a half-hard practice swing before going back into the box. Here's the pitch. And this one will drop on home plate for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk for Sean Keenan, and he's on for the first time tonight. The Larks only have 2 players that have yet to get on the base path. They were very successful in the second inning, and they also had that run in the first.
Well, that's the first walk we've seen in this contest. Sean Keenan did a nice job there, having some good plate discipline there in that at bat.
Next up is number 1, Cooper Holtorf, the junior out of Oklahoma City. We just mentioned he was another player that had a ground rule double in his first appearance. He starts with a strike, watching it go by. There's now a pitcher warming up in the Stars bullpen. We'll take a look at who that is in just a second. It looks like number 45. We usually see pitchers go for 3 innings in games like this. This is a pop-up on the infield, and it's caught by the shortstop, Logan Aguilar, yelling ball. And there's now 1 away. So now it brings us to number 34, Tanner Norman for the Larks. The pitcher that is currently warming up in the bullpen looks to be number 45, Matt Fimbris. The Stars actually have 2 players that wear number 45 on their roster. One's a left-handed pitcher and the other is a right-handed pitcher. And the pitcher in the bullpen right now has his glove on his right hand. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's Matt Fimbris. Time is called, and I think that's another balk there for Manny Miranda. Keenan moves over to second base. So Norman will have him in scoring position. Norman already has 1 hit tonight. When he had that hit, he had a runner over at second base. Here's the first pitch, and Norman hits a ground ball right past the first base bag into foul territory, and that's strike 1. It rolls right into the right field bullpen for the Stars. The left field bullpen is not part of the field, but the bullpen in right field has no gate surrounding it. We talked about there's a couple fields in the RMBL that have that, such as Fort Collins, Dodge City, and one other one as well. I can't think about it right now. Liberal, that's who it is.
It's certainly interesting. You see it in a couple stadiums at the big league level. I think more notably, I think Tropicana Park has one like that. It's interesting that some of those you got to look alive when you're over there in the bullpen. Sometimes you can get some hot shots down that line.
Tanner Norman has dealt another strike, and the count now moves to 1-2. An 82-mile-per-hour pitch right there from Manny Miranda.
That's right around where Miranda's fastball has been kind of clocking in at this entire contest. Not a super fast fastball by any means. Certainly not the fastest that the Larks have seen this year.
Miranda looking for his second strikeout of the game as he deals the 1-2. And that one clipped Norman, so he will head over to first base. That's the first Lark to get hit by a pitch in this game. That's something that the Stars have struggled with. They played in 29 games this season. They have hit a total of 54 batters.
Oh, man. Got to look alive out there this evening, or I guess this afternoon, I guess I should say. But makes you wonder, he's walked 2 guys now in this inning, how much longer they're going to keep him out there on the hill. They don't want to let this one get away too far from him, especially because they've already done some of the work to pull themselves back into this contest by putting two more runs on in that last inning.
The field umpire says some stuff to the home plate umpire, and now he'll go in between second and the pitcher's mound, a little bit off to the side, though. And Tabor Stokes makes his second plate appearance in search of another RBI. 1 out. The Larks have a 4-2 lead. The pitch drops into the outside for strike one. Owen Coyle is on deck. Max Flowers is in the hole. Sean Keenan is at second. Tanner Norman at first. Miranda looks back at second base. And now here's the 0-1. A swing and a miss there by Stokes. Gives him his second strike.
I think Miranda went with the changeup there on that pitch, and I almost wonder if Stokes was sitting on something different because he was a little bit behind that pitch, but it's kind of deceiving sometimes. That changeup can really do some weird stuff sometimes.
Miranda kicks and deals, and he gets another swing and a miss on Tabor Stokes. There's out number 2, and the second forward-facing K of the game. And now it takes us to the 9-hole batter, Owen Coyle. He's in the DH spot for the Larks tonight. That was his primary position at Oral Roberts. And in that position, Coyle earned a 2025 All-Summit League honorable mention. In the second inning, he had a 2 RBI single. He's got runners at first and second. Here's the first pitch to him. He hits a ground ball over to the second baseman, Lockwood, and he bobbles it. Coyle runs over to first base, and he is safe. The bases will be loaded for the top of the order with Max Flowers. Keenan moves over to third and Norman to second, and I believe that'll be our first error of the game.
Yep, they ruled that in there, and I think Lockwood, I'm sure, is at this point probably pretty frustrated, obviously. I think especially after that, that little bobble he had out in the outfield turf, just an inning or two before that, it just kind of a tough go for him in this contest. He's got to try to forget about that play and move on to the next one.
Now Max Flowers appears for the third time in 3 innings. With the bases loaded, the pitch is left up high and outside, and it starts 1-0.
This is a big spot for Max Flowers here. If he can even just get a base hit out into left field, that'll drive in at least a run, if not 2.
The Larks have scored in each of the first 2 innings, trying to avoid leaving the bases loaded. There's a strike on the second pitch there to Flowers, making it now 1-1. The Larks have gotten all 3 other guys on without recording a hit. Sean Keenan stands at third. He was walked. Tanner Norman was hit by a pitch. He's at second. And Owen Coyle just reached on an E4 a moment ago. Flowers hits a line drive into center field on the 1-1. Running after it is Lanza. And he reaches out and he makes the catch, falling to the ground. And that will end the inning. An incredible play there for the center fielder. As we go to the top of the 4th inning, the Larks lead at 4-2, trying to get a pool play opening win. This is Hayes Larks Baseball on the Larks Network.
Welcome you back to the NBC World Series in Wichita, Kansas. I'm Eli Blankenship, joined alongside me, Hank Corsair. We're about ready to go here for the top of the fourth inning. Had a kind of a interesting, little bit different look in this tournament. To our understanding, we haven't verified it, but to our understanding, this is a hydration break is what's going on. They had an umpire last year that collapsed on the field just due to the heat. It was so intense last year that, of course, you got to take into account they've got face masks, they've got pads behind home plate, and then on top of all that, they're wearing black and gray. So I can't imagine that it's very favorable conditions for the umpires.
Plus, they're also playing on turf, and that doesn't help either in the heat.
You got to think about it. At first pitch, you said it was 92 degrees. Increase it by at least 5 degrees for the turf. Usually 5 to 10 is kind of that rule of thumb. So you're looking at 97 degrees on the field on the low end, and then on top of that, you got to take into account that they've got pads and black wear on. I mean, they're looking at over 100 degrees, and I'm sure they're sweating. So I think this is a great change they've made this year to implement those hydration breaks, just for the safety of not only the players but also the umpires as well.
There are still no clouds in the sky, and the temperature's actually raised up to 95, and it currently feels like 100 degrees. So at field level, that's 105.
Yeah, it is warm here this afternoon. It is certainly very warm here this afternoon in Wichita, Kansas. Trent Baker remains on the mound here in this inning. Gavin Gamino leading things off for the San Diego Stars. The first pitch from Baker comes across over the outer half for a strike. Now the 0-1. This one's chopped foul and dribbles its way all the way down to that first base bullpen. The San Diego Stars player will go track that down. Trent Baker prepares to deliver the 0-2. The pitch. This one missing high over the outer half. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count. Camino is one of the 3 victims to Trent Baker's 3 strikeouts so far in the contest. Camino struck out in his first at-bat. Now he hits a pop fly out into left field, getting underneath it. It's Holtorf. Makes the catch, and there's one away. That brings up the first baseman wearing number 33 for the Stars, Phil Jones, the left-handed hitter. He steps into the left-handed batter's box and prepares to go to work against the right-handed pitcher, Trent Baker. Baker pitching out of the full windup. The first pitch to Jones is popped up high into the air and will land on top of the indoor facility just behind the third base dugout. No balls and 1 strike. Baker turns, deals, and the 0-1 comes across over the inner half, a slider for a strike. That slider came across at 90 miles an hour. The 0-2 pitch. This one's jammed up, a jam shot up to Jones. Comes off the inner part of his bat. An underhand toss over to first base is there for out number 2.
It's good to see Trent Baker getting through the batters so quickly, because it's usually around this time you'll see changes made on the mound. But he's able to get some help from his fielders, and you just saw him make the play there. He's only thrown 7 pitches here in the 4th inning, and they're just 1 out away from ending it.
2 down here in the top of the 4th inning, and now that brings up the shortstop, Logan Aguilar. The first pitch to Aguilar misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Larks leading at 4-2 here in the top of the 4th inning. The last inning of work for Trent Baker was certainly challenging, as the Stars were able to tack on 2 runs. A pitch outside makes the count 2-0. The 2-0 pitch from Baker. This one's popped up into foul territory, getting underneath it. The third baseman, Bean, he gets underneath it, makes the catch, and it's 3 up. And it's 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom of the 4th. When we come back, Larks up to bat next.
Larks.
We welcome you back to X Stadium, home of Tyler Field on the campus of Wichita State University. The Larks are up to bat. Rainer Bean will lead things off for Hayes. Bean 0 for 2 in the contest, flew out in both of his appearances. The first pitch to him comes across the inner half for a strike. Manny Miranda stays on the hill for the San Diego Stars. Struggled a little bit in the last inning, but they'll elect to stick with their guy as now there's a pop fly out to right field. It'll drop down into the turf for a base hit. Rainer Bean now on first base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth, and the Larks hold the 2-run lead 4-2.
And Rainer Bean's been looking for that hit all game. He's had 2 fly balls that he's gotten out on. He gets it into that right center gap on that one, and he's on first base.
Hutch Russell now steps up to the dish. Russell inspects his bat up and down, that black wooden bat, and stands in the left-handed batter's box. It's a righty-lefty matchup. The pitcher Miranda, a right-handed pitcher. The first pitch comes across at 77 miles an hour for a strike. Russell so far perfect at the plate this afternoon as the 0-1 comes across the outer half, missing low for ball 1. Russell had an RBI single in his first at-bat in the bottom of the first inning and then was able to notch another single in the bottom of the second. The 1-1 misses outside. The count moves to 2-1. Russell's also seen a lot of action in the field so far as second base has been a very popular spot for ground balls to go to this afternoon. Rainer Bean checks back over to first base as Miranda throws back over there to hold him on. Two balls and one strike. Miranda looks home. Now comes set. The pitch. Misses away. 3 balls and 1 strike. Now, so far in this contest, we've seen 5 total strikeouts between both pitchers combined. To put that into perspective, the record for most strikeouts in this tournament by a single player is 66. As there's a walk to Hutch Russell. He'll toss his bat over to the dugout and make his way down to first base. Runners on first and second now with nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth for the Larks. Now, that record was set in the very first year that this tournament was played in 1935 by no other than the Satchel Paige. And that record is, if he were to play in the current format of the tournament, would have meant that if he would have pitched in all 7 games, he would have had to record 9.43 strikeouts per game. And that is just a totally crazy amount. And I don't even think he played in 7 games. I actually think he played in less based on what I've kind of gathered here in this record book.
Just crazy to think that this whole tournament kind of started because of him. Hap Dumont invited him in 1935, and he brought so much publicity to it that it's still going to this day.
The 0-1 pitch, a bunt laid down by Wilson down the third base line. Wilson chugging to first. He's thrown out over at first base, but the runners on first and second will advance to scoring position. There's 2 in scoring position now for the Larks with 1 away. Satchel Paige was really kind of the headliner for the tournament when they first started this tournament. He played for a team that he really wasn't playing much with that season. It was Bismarck in North Dakota is where that team was based out of. And he never played in the tournament again after that first inaugural year. They actually stopped allowing people of color to play in the tournament the following year in 1936. Of course, since then there have been a lot of progression, but that first initial year, Satchel Paige just drew a crowd, and it's really interesting that he was essentially kind of the the main attraction on the fight card, so to speak. And that was the way it was sort of framed up back at that time, because baseball was just such a big deal in comparison to what it is in today's terms. Sean Keenan stands at the plate. He faces a 1-0 count. This one's a line drive out into right field. It's down for a base hit. The Larks will score one. They send another one home. The play at the plate, and he is out. Hutch Russell thrown out at home on a nice throw from Call out in right field. It'll be a 1 RBI single for Sean Keenan, as Hutch Russell is not able to make his way all the way to the plate, and now there's 2 away.
That ball had a lot of power off of it. Went straight off of Lockwood's glove into right field. And Keenan gets that RBI, bringing Rainer Bean home.
2 away now here in the bottom of the 4th. Larks have a runner on first and now hold a 4-run lead. Correction, 3-run lead, that is, over the San Diego Stars. Holtorf takes the first pitch for a ball. The 1-0 is a totally splintered bat. I don't even know what just happened there. I think he hit the very end of his bat, just like the heel of it, if you're talking in golf terms, like the heel of his bat. And, I mean, there were splinters that flew everywhere. I've never seen a bat do that before.
He immediately touched the top part of his bat, so I think that's where it went.
Keenan will have to go back to the dugout, or excuse me, Holtorf rather, and will have to go back to the dugout to go exchange bats and get himself a new piece of lumber so that he can continue this at bat. That was crazy. I mean, I've seen some broken bats before, but that was never seen one like that before. That'll go down as a foul ball. The count moves to 1-1 to Holtorf. The pitch. A big swing and a miss on a fastball that came across at 83 miles an hour. One ball and 2 strikes, the count to Holtorf. Runner on first and 2 away. The 1-2. Runner goes. Slide into second base. He's there in time. Sean Keenan has a successful stolen base after the throw from Jason Wright was just a bit off the target.
It was a little bit underthrown, but that was a good jump from Keenan, and he was able to get a good slide as well.
Now a runner in scoring position for the Larks with 2 away. The 2-2 to Holtorf. This one well inside on the left fielder, Holtorf. The right-hander now faces a 3-2 count. Righty-righty matchup here. Holtorf waves his bat through the strike zone. Now at the ready. The payoff pitch. That one misses down and away. It's ball 4. Holtorf is on base once again for the second time this outing. Runners on first and second now for the Larks with 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th. Larks hold a 3-run advantage over the Stars. 5-2 the margin here in this one. Miranda comes set with 8 on the pitch clock. The pitch. This one's fouled away down the first base line by Norman. It'll go out of play. He starts the count 0-1. Norman had a pretty good final home game, I guess, of the season, where he reached base on 3 different walks. It's very good plate discipline. Tanner Norman is one that very rarely swings at something that's totally out of the zone. Is a prime example right there. A pitch that goes high and outside is away for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Norman. The pitch. This one misses low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike now. The count to the first baseman. Norman, a left-handed hitter, now facing a righty pitcher. This matchup favoring the batter. Norman waves his stick just behind his helmet. He awaits the 2-1. The pitch. This one misses high and inside, and now the count 3-1 to Norman. Norman being able to show display some good plate discipline here in this at-bat. Miranda looks home. Now comes set. Holds his mitt at his belt. Steps off the back of the rubber, and I think they're going to call another balk. Yes, they are. They're going to call another balk. So runners on first and second now advance to second and third. Well, maybe it was a pitch clock violation. It might have been a pitch clock violation. I think it was, because they sent Tanner Norman down to first base. So now the Larks have the bases loaded, and we'll have a meeting on the mound in what I would expect would probably be the end of Manny Miranda's day.
I'm honestly surprised they made him go this long with how many hits he's given up, with the lead that the Larks have on the Stars. They should probably consider going to their bullpen at this point.
Larks hold a 5-2 lead here in this contest. And Miranda's going to stay on the hill. A little bit surprised at that decision there, but we'll see how that pans out for the San Diego Stars. Bases are loaded here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 2 away. And again, the Larks have that 3-run lead, 5-2. It'll bring up the shortstop Tabor Stokes, who has accounted for an RBI this afternoon. Had an RBI single in the bottom of the second inning and struck out in the bottom of the third. Now making his third plate appearance of the afternoon. The first pitch well inside. He has to jump out of the way to avoid being hit. 1 ball and no strikes the count to the shortstop, Tabor Stokes. Stokes taps the end of his bat on the inner corner of the plate. Now awaits the 1-0, the pitch. This one's drilled into foul territory. He made pretty good contact with that pitch. He was just a little bit in front of it. That foul ball will result in a strike in the count. It's 1-1 now to the shortstop Stokes. Larks so far have 9 hits in the contest, all of which have been conceded by Miranda. The 1-1 is hit up into the grandstand, into the green seats, just below the press box level. Over off that first base side. A couple fans were able to snag that ball for a souvenir. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count to Stokes. Miranda turns and deals the pitch. This one misses away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Larks weren't able to score any in the bottom of the third, but were able to flip it right back on here in the bottom of the fourth as they scored a run early in this inning. Now a drilled ball out into deep center field. Underneath it is Lanza. He's able to make the catch right next to the warning track, runs into the wall as he's letting himself decelerate over at that 390 mark out in dead center field. The Larks leave 3 stranded on the base paths in the bottom of the fourth, but they're able to tack on 1 more. They lead it 5-2 going into the top of the fifth. Back on the campus of Wichita State University, the Larks are back out into the field. Trent Baker remains on the hill to start the top of the 5th inning. The Larks hold a 3-run lead, 5-2. And it's a fresh row of your scoring card for those that might be keeping score. The first pitch from Baker to Liam Herrera comes across the outer half for a strike. Baker holds his mitt in front of his face. Now deals the 0-1. Some similar location, but a little bit too low for the home plate umpire's liking. The count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Baker pitching out of the full windup. Turns his foot on the rubber, deals the 1-1. This one right up the gut. Russell there tries to make a backhand grab just behind second base in the outfield grass. And instead it'll slip through and roll onto the Woo-Shock logo out in center field. And it's down for a base hit in favor of Liam Herrera.
Russell was making a good effort to go after that ball as well. Trying to dive out to get it. You saw his sunglasses come off at the very end. It was kind of a weird ball. It looked a little bit slow, but it was rolling pretty fast at the same time.
Baker now has a runner on first, nobody out. And the designated hitter, Dylan Towning, up to bat. He'll try to lay down a bunt down the first base line. It rolls foul, and we'll do it all over again. Towning, for being a designated hitter, showing off his wheels there on that play. Even despite that ball rolling foul, he ran all the way through first base, and, I mean, that guy took off. He's got some wheels on him, and that's something the Larks have to be aware of here in a situation like this if he's looking for a bunt. No balls and 1 strike to Towning. Towning so far 0 for 1, flew out to left field, or to right field rather, in his first at bat. Baker out of the stretch now. He took a look over to first base. Now the 0-1. This one's belted out to left field. On the run is Holtorf. He makes the grab with his white mitt out in left field for out number 1. Excellent reaction time from Holtorf. He started running the moment that ball made contact with the bat. That is really good read there from Holtorf out in left field. That could have very easily been a base hit to an average left fielder, but Holtorf showing why he is above average and by far.
Well, the Stars are making the Larks fielders get their exercise in. You saw Hutch Russell on that last play make a good effort for the ball, and that one was pretty well placed as well. But Holtorf put on the wheels and got to it in time.
First pitch of the at-bat to Jacob Lanza is fouled way out of play. I think it may have landed close to the indoor practice facility.
Hit right off the middle wall.
The count 0-1 now to the center fielder Lanza. Runner on first and 1 away here in the top of the 5th. Baker deals that one, and it's fouled behind the plate. Lanza faces an 0-2 count, and Baker has a lot more wiggle room here in this count to really work the strike zone. Baker comes in. Now the 0-2. And it is a hit by pitch. He drilled that elbow of Jacob Lanza. I think Lanza may have been wearing an elbow guard. Yes, he was. So Lanza seems to be all right. And now there's runners on first and second with 1 away. Certainly starting to heat up here in Wichita. Can really start to feel the heat moving its way up here into the press box. We've got our windows open so we have a little bit of natural sound coming into the broadcast this afternoon.
Still feels like 100 degrees out there from what it says.
The first pitch of the at-bat to the one-hole hitter Hunter Call is a big swing and a miss for strike 1. Hunter Call 1 for 2 in the contest. Had an RBI single his second time up. Struck out looking to Baker in his first at bat. The 0-1. The slider missing outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good stop from Wilson behind the plate. Was able to keep the runners on first and second as that pitch kind of got away from Baker. Wilson did a nice job at keeping that one from going behind home plate. Now a foul ball moves the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes as it dribbles its way down the third base line. Hunter Call now will have to battle back. Baker so far has pitched 4 1/3 innings of work. He's done a pretty efficient job at it as well. Saw at one point the athletic trainer for the Larks came out to the hill to have a conversation with him, but ever since then he seems like he's been all good. And a strikeout over the outer half of the plate, a slider. Blows it past him at 80 miles an hour. Another backwards K is dealt to Hunter Call.
I feel like that outside part of the plate has been Trent Baker's specialty throughout this entire game. That's his 4th strikeout now, and that's the 2nd time he's caught Call looking.
The Larks now have 2 away with runners on first and second. Baker looks back to second. The first pitch misses high and outside for a ball. Now the 2-hole hitter, Carter Lockwood, is up to the plate. Left-handed hitter faces the right-handed pitcher and Baker. The 1-0. This one misses outside as well. It's left out there by Lockwood. The count moves to 2 balls and no strikes. Lockwood. 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 Apologies, folks. My microphone wasn't cooperating with me there on that one. That pitch from Baker was able to come across over the inner half of the plate for a strike. Now the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Baker looks back to second, jumps off the rubber, throws it back to second base. He's out! Oh, what a pickoff play from Trent Baker. And he is pumped, and so is the Larks faithful in the Larks dugout. The Larks strand 1 on the base paths in the top of the 5th inning, and it'll be their turn up next to get the bats going. It's the 9, 1, and 2-hole hitters up to bat when we come back. We welcome you back to X Stadium, home of Tyler Field. There's a new arm on the hill for the San Diego Stars. Jorge Rijo, takes to the hill. The first pitch is dealt to Owen Coyle. Now Coyle drills one up the middle. That thing had no chance. It didn't bounce inside the infield at all. The first bounce that thing took was out in the outfield, and it was a laser beam out into center field. Coyle's on first base with a leadoff base hit.
Well, Owen Coyle is putting his mark on this game. He's got 3 appearances at the plate, has not gotten out yet. He's introducing himself on the biggest stage, and he's not disappointing.
Larks have a leadoff single. Coyle's on first base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. In the top of the order, Max Flowers, the center fielder's up to the plate. The first pitch from him is popped up into middle of center field. Lanza makes the catch, and there's one away. The new pitcher, Jorge Rijo, on the hill, is a native of the Dominican Republic, playing for Tabor College at the moment, who is being coached by Mark Standiford, a Wichita State legend, really. Holds the home run record at Wichita State. Was just actually inducted into the NBC World Series Hall of Fame. And believe it or not, he's actually my neighbor in Wichita when I'm living here. So pretty cool connection there.
Yeah, you told me that before the game, and I was pretty blown away when I heard that.
Small world. The 1-0 to Bean is way inside. It gets way behind the catcher, Jason Wright. And now Owen Coyle will run over to second base on a pass ball. So now the Larks have a runner in scoring position with 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Bean, a left-handed hitter, standing in the left-handed batter's box. Awaits the righty Jorge Rijo. This one's hit out into center field. Underneath it's Lanza. He makes the catch. And now the tag up from Coyle. He'll slide in feet first over to third base. It'll be a productive out on the behalf of Rainer Bean. Now there's 2 away with the runner just 90 feet away from making this a 4-run contest. It's back-to-back flyouts to center field from the Larks. And now the second baseman, Hutch Russell, steps up to the plate. Rijo comes set. The pitch. A big swing and a miss from Russell. That pitch came across the plate at 88 miles an hour. Russell, the left-handed hitter, facing the righty Jorge Rijo. Rijo takes a deep breath. Now the 0-1. This one way inside. It bounces on the turf. It bounces hard off the backstop. And that'll allow Coyle to score on a pass ball.
That was such a hard one for Wright to track down. That one took such a hard bounce off the backstop that it actually rolled back into the infield.
The Larks now have a 4-run advantage over the Stars. They lead it 6-2. There's 2 away and a 1-1 count now to Russell after that pitch was able to get away. The 1-1 misses low. Count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Russell rests his black bat on his shoulder. The 2-1 pitch. Missing low over the inner half for a ball. Now 3 balls and 1 strike to Russell. To your point, that ball just kind of sprung off the back pads just behind home plate. And like you said, rolled into the infield, made it really difficult for the Stars to make a play on it. Ball 4 is below the knees for Hutch Russell. And he'll make a trip down to first base. That is so far a virtually perfect day at the plate for Hutch Russell. He has yet to go down on an out. Had an RBI single his first time up, was able to reach on a single his second time up, and then reached on a base on balls his last time up. So he's reached base 4 times now in the contest. The first pitch to Bran Wilson is belted out to left. It is gone! Out into the street behind X Stadium, and that's a 2-run blast from the catcher. A no-doubter from Bran Wilson. The Larks faithful letting them know they like what they're seeing as Brand Wilson jumps his way into the dugout, wears his cowboy hat, and gallops his way back into the dugout. Wow, what a blast from Brand Wilson.
You could just tell from the sound of that there was no doubt it was getting out of here.
The Larks jump out to a 6-run lead now. They lead it 8-2. Now 3 runs scored here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Sean Keenan steps up to the plate. The first pitch to him, a ball. He starts the count 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. This one comes across the inner half, just right at the knees. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to count to the right fielder, Keenan. The pitch. Rijo's able to dot that one over the inner half. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. Rijo just 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. The 1-2 is fouled away over the top of the net behind home plate. The count stays at 1-2. The PA announcer just made an announcement. There's a new catcher behind the plate. Did you catch who that was, Hank?
Yeah, they said Jackson Witt, a Wichita native that the Stars just added.
The 1-2 pitch is popped up high into shallow center field. Tracking it down is Lanza. He makes the catch for out number 3. The Larks tack on 3 more runs, brought to you by a 2-run Brand Wilson no-doubt home run out to left field. That thing went all the way to the street, and the Larks are playing with some fire. They lead it 8-2 going into the top of the 6th inning. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Welcome you back to Wichita, Kansas. Brian Walters takes to the hill for the Larks in relief of Trent Baker. Trent went 5 innings pitched, allowing 4 hits and 2 runs in the contest. The first pitch to Carter Lockwood has popped up a mile high. It drops into play. Oh, my. Rainer Bean tried to get underneath it, and I think he must have lost it in the air, lost it. I don't know if the sun is a factor for them right now. We can't see where the sun is at, but it should be pretty much right over the top of the stadium. So it's very possible he lost that ball in the sun.
Well, also you had 4 Larks players there fighting for the ball, so there was probably some confusion as well.
Very funky base hit for Carter Lockwood, puts him on first base. The first pitch to not Jason Wright, that is the new catcher, Jackson Witt. misses over the inner half for a ball. The 1-0, missing in the same spot. Now 2 balls and no strikes. Witt came in as a substitution for Jason Wright. Jason and Jackson, 2 J names for you, catching in this afternoon's outing for the Stars. Another ball makes the count 3-0 to the new catcher, Jackson Wright. Witt, not Wright, Witt. The 3-0 count. It's a fastball left upstairs, and now there's runners on first and second. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Larks lead it 8-2, a 6-run lead for them. And 2 runners on for the San Diego Stars. Now pitching coach Keith Harper will take a trip out to the mound. And it looks like he's got some sort of card of some sort that I think he's trying to hand to. Oh, I wonder if that was some sort. Oh, it's just Rosenbag is what it was. Okay, I don't know. That really looked like a laminated note card or something is what that looked like from up here. But it was just a Rosenbag. He just needed to give that to Brian Walters. Makes you wonder if he was just struggling to grip the baseball. With as hot as it is and as sweaty as some of those guys get, it's very possible that sweat was causing it to be a little bit tricky for him to grip the ball.
Yeah, the humidity has picked up. The hot wind is blowing. You can see the flag out in right field, blowing towards center field. Not the best conditions right now.
Gavin Gamino up to the plate. He shows bunt. The first pitch to him, a slider over the outer half for a strike. The slider came across at 74 miles an hour. And Gamino faces an 0-1 count. Gamino, the left fielder, 0 for 2 in the contest. Struck out swinging his first time up. He was one of the victims of Trent Baker. And then flew out to left field in his second at bat. The 0-1. This one misses outside. Now 1 ball and 1 strike to the left fielder, Gamino. Walters was one of those additions that was made later in the season, right before the NBC World Series, for that matter. And he is already making an appearance here in Game 1 of the NBC World Series. And now a big swing and a miss makes the count 1-2 to the left fielder, Gamino. Walters looks home, now comes set and takes a look back to second base. The 1-2. This one's hit right up the gut. It's fielded by the shortstop, Stokes. He steps on second base. The throw over to first is in time, and that's a double play. A 6-3 double play. Tabor Stokes played that perfectly, and Tanner Norman stretched out and made the play over at first base.
And a good play by Stokes there as well because he took his time. He didn't rush it. You saw Hutch Russell run over there to second base to cover, but Stokes said, I'll do it myself, touches second, and then throws it to first.
That advances the lead runner, Carter Lockwood, over to third base. And now the first baseman, Phil Jones, fouls one away into the net for strike 1. Phil Jones 0 for 2 in the contest. He's grounded out twice in this afternoon's matinee. The 0-1 pitch is into the turf for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phil Jones put his hand out to signal to Carter Lockwood to stay over at third base. Top of the 6th inning. And 2 away with a runner on third. Larks lead at 8-2. The 1-1 pitch. Right across Main Street for strike 2. Walters comes set. Holds his mitt at his belt. Now deals the 1-2 pitch. This one's chopped down the third baseline. It's fielded by Bean. Bean on the run. Throws it over to first, and it's not in time. Bean had to really contort his body to try and make that throw, and he just couldn't quite get enough juice behind it, and Norman had to stretch out. He stretched out as far as he could to try and make that pick over at first, and he made the pick, but the throw was not in time, and that'll be a infield single and an RBI for Phil Jones.
There was a long run to the ball, but it also took a hop right before it went into Tanner Norman's glove, and that's always a tough play to make that quickly.
Now a high pop-up from the 6-hole batter. Logan Aguilar will go out of play and foul for strike number 1. So Carter Lockwood breaks the deficit down to just 5 now. The Larks lead it 8-3. Walters comes set. Now the 0-1. That one missing just barely over the inner corner of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aguilar 0 for 2 in the contest, grounded out and flew out in both of his at-bats. The 1-1 pitch, an off-speed pitch at 75 miles an hour, goes right down Vine Street for strike 2. One ball and 2 strikes. Walters comes set. The pitch. Got him over the outer half. Strike 3. The first strikeout of the contest for Brian Walters gets him out of the top of the 6th inning. The Stars tack on 1 more run. They trail it by 5 runs. The Larks lead it 8-3 going into the bottom of the 6th. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Back in Wichita, Kansas, it's the bottom of the 6th inning. The Larks lead it 8-3 after giving up 1 run in the top of the 6th inning. Leading things off for the Larks is Cooper Holtorf. He takes the first pitch over the inner half for a strike. Holtorf is 1 for 3 in today's contest. The 0-1 is away for ball 1. Holtorf reached on a double and scored the Larks' 2nd run of the game in the bottom of the 2nd inning. The 1-1 misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now. He flew out to the shortstop, Aguilar, in his 2nd at-bat and reached on a base on balls in his 3rd at-bat. Now the 2-1 misses just outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Holtorf. The 3-1. This one is belted out to left field. On the runs, Gamino. He's at the warning track. It is gone! Another home run for the Larks. It's a solo shot for Cooper Holtorf.
And it was that same spot again into left field. The Larks have been able to make the good contact and add another home run right there.
The Larks take a 6-run lead. They tacked that run they gave up right back on. They lead it 9-3 here in the bottom of the 6th. And that's 2 bombs here this afternoon for the Larks in Game 1 of the NBC World Series. That brings up the left-handed hitter, Tanner Norman, the first baseman. The first pitch to him comes across the middle of the plate for a strike. He starts the count 0-1. Taps his black bat on home plate a couple times and awaits the 0-1 pitch. Rijo deals. This one's outside, and it's left out there by Holtorf, or by Norman, rather. The count moves to 1-1. It's a very symmetrical ballpark here at Tyler Field. 330 in both corners. The 1-1 well inside on Norman for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. 375 out in right center and left center field, and 390 in dead center field. So this is a perfectly symmetrical ballpark, actually, would be the way to put it. Which is not every day you see that, actually. It's kind of rare to see perfectly symmetrical ballparks. The 2-1s foul the way into the net. Now the count moves to 2-2. Dimensions actually are slightly closer than they are at Larks Park, at least out in dead center field. Now out in the right and left field corners are a little bit further. The 2-2. This one misses inside below the knees. 3 balls and 2 strikes now the count to the first baseman, Norman. Rijo deals the payoff pitch. This one is blooped over the top of the shortstop. It just dodged the glove of Aguilar and landed out in shallow left field for a base hit.
It's very hard for us to tell up here, but I think that one just barely grazed the tip of his glove. Very easily could have been caught, but Tanner Norman perfectly placed it, and he's on for the 4th time tonight now.
Yeah, it may have even grazed the glove, to your point. It was really, really close. I mean, just floated over the top of Aguilar over at short. And so now the Larks have a runner on first with nobody out. That brings up Stokes, the shortstop. His first pitch is belted right up the middle. A laser that rolls into the center field turf for a base hit. The Larks have runners on first and second.
That was good contact there by Stokes, but something that I noticed is when Aguilar was going after that ball, it looks like he dove a little bit too early. He probably would have had the chance, but he just misread that.
A lot of times you see those gut shots that just go right up the middle, come off the bat really hot, and I would imagine that was probably the thought process there from the shortstop Aguilar, was try to dive ahead of time to try and make that play, but that one slipped right by him. Nobody out, runners on first and second for the Larks here in the bottom of the 6th. The first pitch to Owen Coyle is left upstairs. Coyle, the left-handed hitter and designated hitter for the Larks this afternoon. He's had a very, very successful first outing for the Larks. Had a 2 RBI single in his first at-bat, reached on an air in his second at-bat, and last time up was able to reach on a single. The 1-0 missing inside. The count moves to 2-0. Rijo looks back to second base. Now deals the 2-0 pitch. This one's popped up a mile high. Calling it is Aguilar, the shortstop. He makes the catch just in the outfield grass for out number 1. That's the first time this afternoon that Owen Coyle has not reached base. That brings up the top of the order for the Larks. The one-hole hitter, Max Flowers, steps up to the dish. Flowers 1 for 4 in the outing. Reached on a double his first time up. That was a ground rule double out to right center field. The first pitch to Flowers is a slider just at the knees for a strike. Rijo comes set. Looks back to second base. Now deals the 0-1. This one's blooped out into shallow left. It'll drop down for a base hit. It takes a hop right in front of Gamino, who fields it. And now the Larks have loaded the bases. Three singles in this inning have now juiced the bases for the Larks, and they've got the 2-hole hitter, Rainer Bean, up to the plate. This is another lefty, I guess righty-lefty matchup. Rijo, the right-handed pitcher, pitching to the left-handed batter, Rainer Bean. The first pitch of the at-bat is crushed out to right center field. It'll drop down for a base hit. They'll score one, they'll send the other, and they'll score two. That's a 2 RBI single for Rainer Bean. That scores Norman and Stokes. And the Larks have now jumped out to what is an 8-run lead, 11-3.
Bean placed that perfectly into that right center gap, and now the Larks have a perfect opportunity. If they can add some more runs and keep an 8-run lead going into the top of the 7th, that's a run rule because it's a little bit different for the NBC.
That brings up the 3-hole hitter, Hutch Russell. The first pitch to the second baseman misses letter high. 1 ball and no strikes.
It's just the third day of the NBC World Series. If that happens, it'd be the second run rule that we've seen so far. Yesterday, Great Bend took on Santa Barbara. That one ended in the 7th inning, 8-0.
The 1-0 pitch to Russell, comes across the inner half for a strike. Max Flowers stands on third base. Rainer Bean stands at first, so it's runners on the corners for the Larks. They've got one more run just 90 feet away from scoring. The 1-1 to Russell. This one's right up the gut. It dribbles over into the glove of the second baseman, Lockwood. They step on second. They throw it over to first, and it's in time. A 4-6-3 double play ends the inning, but not after the Larks score 3 runs. They tack on 3 more runs. They extend their lead to 8. They lead it 11-3 going into the top of the 7th.
Welcome back to the NBC World Series at X Stadium as we go to the top of the 7th inning. The Larks lead 11-3 after a 3-run bottom of the 6th. With this 8-run lead, if they can hold the Stars to a 0 in that 7th inning column, they will get their 10th run rule victory of the season, because the rule for the NBC is 8 after 7. It's the 7-8-9 batters for the new pitcher for the Larks, Brian Walters. He came in the last inning, and he starts with a foul ball that hit the barrel of Liam Herrera's bat, and it's now 0-1. So Brian Walters, this is his first game with the Larks. He was added to the team, one of 6 players. This summer he played for the Game Day Angels, made 6 starts with the team, so this is a new position for him, being a relief pitcher. Another foul ball makes the count now 0-2 to Herrera. So the Larks have 4 players from the Game Day Angels, along with Owen Coyle, who bats 9th today, and they also added Caden Dinkle, a TMP Marion graduate that's committed to Cloud County Community College. Walters had 1 strikeout in the prior inning. Here's the 0-2. And a swing and a miss against Herrera. There's 1 away.
That was a great pitch there from Brian Walters. A good sequence from him. Kind of wasn't exactly the way he wanted to start that at bat, but he finished it the way that he wanted to. That first pitch obviously came in a little bit higher than I think he was intending to on that pitch, but he got lucky, I think, a little bit on that swing and foul ball. But that's a great execution there from Brian Walters to get that first out.
Now the Stars go to their 8-hole hitter, number 6, Dylan Towning. Shows bunt and stepped out of the box going to first base. He missed it, and it's now 0-1. Towning is 0 for 2 today. This is his first game with the Stars. He was a new addition to the team, playing for the San Diego Bombers, who are also in the Western Baseball Association. And now a fly ball into shallow outfield. It's Hutch Russell, the second baseman, that runs after it and makes the catch. And now the Stars are down to their last out of this game.
Well, they've got to score at least 1 run here in this inning if they want to keep this one alive. And based on the way this Larks defense is playing, it's going to be real tricky.
It's now number 12, Jacob Lanza, who will be responsible for keeping the game alive, the sophomore from El Cajon, California. The pitch. And he is dealt a strike there from Brian Walters. A good number of Larks fans in attendance cheering the team on. Now the 0-1. And it's a ground ball right past Rainer Bean, and it rolls into left field. That is a single with 2 outs for Jacob Lanza, and that is his second hit of the game.
Well, he's keeping them alive. We'll see if they can manufacture a run here. It's going to be tricky with 2 outs on the board already. You wonder if they get aggressive on the base paths here with that lead runner over at first base. They're going to have a lot of distance to travel for him if they're going to rely on base hits.
The Stars are back to the top of their order for the 4th time today with number 25, Hunter Call, the right fielder. 1 for 3 for him today. And the first pitch from Walters catches that low outside corner, and it's 0-1. Again, if the Larks can win it in a run rule, it would be their 10th run rule win of the season, and it would also be the 2nd run rule game of this NBC World Series. The first one happened yesterday between Great Bend and Santa Barbara. That one ended in the 7th inning with the Foresters emerging victorious 8-0. A pop-up into foul territory. Tanner Norman going after it, puts his glove out, and he makes the catch, and that will do it. The Larks come into Wichita, win 11-3, and get the first win of pool play over the San Diego Stars. An incredible performance from start to finish, and they set up a big matchup tomorrow with Tess's Army at 3 p.m. We'll be right back with a short post-game show here on the Larks Network. The Larks put on a dominant performance in their first game of pool play, and just like they did last year, they get double-digit runs on the board against the San Diego Stars, and they win by a final score of 11-3. Welcome to the postgame show, everybody. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship, and the Larks took control early. They scored 1 run in the first, 3 in the second, and then from that point on, they were able to control the game. The Stars had their moments in the 3rd inning where they had 2 runs, and they also added 1 more run in the 6th inning. But once the Larks had that lead, there was no turning back.
Yeah, and they put together a very complete game, and I was very impressed. This is, in my opinion, probably the most complete game we've seen this Larks team play this whole season. The pitching was great. The bats were hot. I mean, it really just, this team we've seen. This is probably the best we've seen them play, really, in my opinion. They played really good baseball today, and I was very impressed.
And really, when you look at the scorecard for the Larks as well, they were just so consistent. You had so many players that had multiple hits. You had a few that had multiple runs as well. And they're talking right now with the player of the game. on the left field foul on the third base foul side. Trying to see who that is. I think that looks like it's Cooper Holtorf, and it is. He is our player of the game tonight with a ground rule double in the second inning. He also walked in the fourth, but he stole the show with that sixth inning home run as the leadoff batter of that inning, where the Larks were able to put those 3 runs together and then get that run rule victory.
Yeah, and I think this season throughout the year, this Larks team hasn't been known for its power, but they really put it on full display here tonight. Cooper Holtorf and Brand Wilson both notching some home runs. Brand Wilson's a 2-run homer. So, I have nothing but glowing things to say about the Larks after this performance. They really put on a great show, and I think that the Larks fans that did make the trip are very thankful that they did because, wow, what a performance from them.
And also, the Larks only used 2 pitchers in tonight's game. That includes 5 innings from Trent Baker, 4 hits, 2 runs, and 4 strikeouts, and then Brian Walters pitched the final 2 innings. They didn't have to use up very many pitchers because of the run rule, so they're going to be very fresh, playing Texas Army tomorrow, a new team making their debut in the NBC World Series. It's going to be a mystery, but the Larks are still fresh.
Yeah, and guys like Brian Walters and additionally, Owen Coyle as well, both really made their mark on this game. 2 guys that are brand new to this roster, came in for the NBC World Series, and they've done exactly what head coach Frank Leo needed them to do, fill the holes that they have in their roster, and he did an excellent job this evening, both Owen Coyle and additionally Brian Walters. And the fact that Brian Walters was able to close this one out after coming in to relieve Baker after 5 innings of work, I mean, you can't ask for anything more, especially being able to conserve those arms going into the later parts of this tournament.
This was the Larks' 27th win of the season. The Stars now fall to an overall record of 17-13, and the 2 teams will be right back in action tomorrow. Looking ahead at that one, the Larks will play at 3 p.m. against Texas Army here at X Stadium, and then after that, San Diego will play Alaska at 6 p.m., but those times are subject to change. With it being baseball around the clock, they can run into delays sometimes. We'll keep everybody updated with that. But it was a dominant performance from the Larks, 11 runs and 16 hits to get the run rule victory. And they'll face Texas Army tomorrow at 3 p.m., and they are 1 win away from clinching a spot in bracket play. That's going to do it for our coverage of tonight's game. We thank you all for tuning in. I'm Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. We hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday.